Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to The Wealthy Sailor. I am John, and today we're talking about financial leakage. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos about budgeting, then you've probably heard me talk about stuff like if you leave your TV plugged in, even if it's off, it does draw a little bit of electricity, so it's costing you a little bit of money. Now, granted that one of those things it's not going to cost you very much in the grand scheme of things, but a lot of things added up could. Well, although I think that's important, today I want to talk about something else. I want to talk specifically about subscription services. So I just read an article and it said the average person has 6 different subscription services. So this kind of confused me a little bit because everybody knows everybody has like a media streaming service. Or everybody has, either Hulu or Netflix or Disney or Prime or all of them. I would argue that pretty much everybody has an Amazon Prime account on their own. So that's 2. So what are the other ones? Box services. A lot of people have subscription box services. But also, when you think of subscription service, that also includes things that you only pay for once a year. So in my case, it's VPN, antivirus, even Microsoft Office. All these things are subscription services that you pay for once, and then whether you read the terms and conditions or not, whether it's auto refill or not, it'll just keep charging you. So to break this down a little bit, subscription services are basically divided into 2 different types. You have ones that provide you with a product and those that provide you with a service. Most of mine are actually service based. However, my fiance does get the bark box for our dog. Now, it's not the perfect service for us because when you look up the individual toys that you get in there, like the plush toys, we have a pitty, so our pit will destroy plush toys pretty quickly. And if you look up the names of them, like when you get them, you can look them up and buy them on Amazon. You can buy an entire case for like 40, 50 bucks. In fact, that's what I did for tennis balls because she loves tennis balls. I just went to a sporting goods store online and bought her a bucket of 100 tennis balls, and she's been happy for a year with that. But we just do stuff like that. My fiance really likes to get the boxes and open up for the dog and, like a little Christmas for the dog. Fine, whatever. But it turns out a lot of people are doing this. And some of these are really pricey. Even the box I was just talking about is still, I think it's like $35 a month, every month. And the thing is that when we sign up for something like that, we think of it as a bill, right? So when we go out and, say we go out to eat, we don't think of that as something we have to do. It's not a bill we have to budget for. It's something we could easily not do. Now, a lot of people do it anyway, but we don't have to do it. When you sign up for subscription services, people get in their head that, okay, it's a bill. I have to make sure money's in my account for this bill. But you can turn it off at any time. And I think it's because of that a lot of people stay in subscription services longer than they really should. Now, some subscriptions make sense completely. My antivirus program, it will work even without the subscription, but it makes sense for me to pay for the update because the viruses I'm combating are always being updated. Like, there's always people trying to figure out the newest and biggest and worst thing to do to you. So that makes sense to have it. And it even makes sense for Norton to structure their business in that way because once they sell a product, they still have to update it for years and years and years. And then if there's like a big name virus that just like sort of comes out, then they'll very quickly build a patch for it, and they will push that patch to all the different people that own all the software. So it makes sense for them to have a business structure that you have to pay them some sort of subscription service to maintain it because they're constantly maintaining the system. And that's like that with a lot of apps too. I know, like if you get an app that only costs like $1 from the App Store, but it has to constantly be maintained and updated, that makes sense that you pay a little bit to continue using that app. Now, the problem with me is that if all my apps charge me money, I would be paying literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month to use apps. So, although it makes sense to me, I am very careful about which subscription services I sign up for and which ones I don't. So, besides it being a necessity for companies also push this business structure, whether they need to or not. Like I said, with the antivirus, you kind of have to have it that way. But not all business structures have to have it that way, but they like it because the same reason why gyms love it. It's because once they get you, they pretty much figure they're not going to really get the amount of use, like you're not going to get the use out of it as you need, but you continue to stay signed up for it because one, it's not that much, so you might as well just stay in it, a little bit. Or they offer you benefits like, oh, well, you've been doing this for a year, so you get this added benefit to deter you from canceling it because you're like, oh, well, if I do go back, I get this added benefit. Whatever it is. Um, that's how I know some of these food products work with like Blue Apron and Simply Fresh and stuff like that. Once you get into it, they try to do everything they can to keep you involved and keep you paying it, whether or not you're using the service or not, because you can actually suspend you getting food delivery services. And they try to keep you as best they can, and it's good for them to do that because they already acquired their customer. Their customer acquisition cost is really cheap. They already have you. Now they can just get monthly payments from you, and you're good they're good until you realize that you don't need it anymore. And businesses really like this business structure. I mean, one of the main things about it, like if I was starting my own business, I would love it because then I only have to require a customer one time. The customer acquisition cost might be high, but you're not getting new customers every month. I mean, I guess you want to continue to grow, but once you get a certain amount of customers, you're pretty much breaking even or maybe a profit, so your whole thing is just to keep them. As opposed to like a store where, because they're not paying like a membership stuff, they could theoretically just go to a different store. Like I know I go to a bunch of different grocery stores. I don't really have a dedicated one. I have no loyalty. I go to whichever one is nearby or whichever one I remember having good food or a good selection last time I was there. So let's say you're getting a box service. What I suggest you do immediately is check out the reviews for the box service. So I remember I was looking at signing up for a book of the month club, which was kind of neat. And so I YouTubed it, and I just watched somebody else who had it. And it came with like a book. It was a nice hardback book. It came with like a related bookmark, and it came with like a synopsis for the book, and it even came with almost like a college style paper written about the book, so you can kind of analyze what you're reading. I thought it was neat. I'm not a huge reader though, so a book a month, even though they're nice hardbacks, would be. But then I looked it up. I looked up how much the book cost, and it was like $10. So the other stuff I don't really need. I don't need so much the bookmark. I don't need so much the synopsis, or the paper, when I can just probably Google, some freshman literature person's thoughts on the book and, kind of get it that way. So if you're going to sign up for a box service, make sure you YouTube it and Google it and try to find out what's in there and find out what the quality is. Same thing with, I know where, because of my job being with the military and stuff, a lot of people get those survival boxes or those tactical boxes, and it's kind of the same thing. Most people, after they get a couple of them, they cancel it because, simply speaking, it's not worth, some of those are like $110 a month, and what you get is just not worth it. So make sure you look up what's in the boxes. Now, as for the entertainment one, I'm kind of getting a little aggravated about that because I switched over to Netflix, Hulu, and all that stuff because I didn't want to deal with cable anymore. Now, between my Netflix, my Hulu, my Amazon Prime, the HBO Go, the Disney Plus, I'm now paying like $60 a month in streaming services. Now, on top of that, I also pay $15 a month for Audible. Now, Audible I like because I listen to a book every month, but I get with that $15 a month, I get one free book a month. And the thing is that most of the books I want to listen to are a lot more expensive than $15. So I feel like I'm kind of getting that money's worth, sort of. But either way, well, the streaming services I wanted to cut the cable, and now the prices are starting to go up enough that's I might as well just go to the cable, because once you add in Showtime, you add in CBS, Fox Sports has their own streaming service, and these are all streaming services I kind of want. And it gets expensive. And the same thing happened when I tried to look at that one TV service, Sling. Once I built I thought it was a la carte, and it's very loosely considered a la carte because it still comes in packages. It's just, instead of having one package for all your basic channels, you need 6 packages for it. But those all add up. So, and then they purposely put channels on different packages. So I remember I wanted HGTV and DIY Network, but they came in 2 different packages. So I'd have to get these 2 other packages. So it's the same thing cable did. So I never went to Sling because I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. The only problem I have with my streaming services is I still have a problem with sports. Um, I live, I'm from Philadelphia. I live in Virginia Beach, and I really like to watch Philadelphia sports. And the thing is that it's really difficult for me to do. I almost have to go out every time. I usually have to find like a local bar that I like, and then I'll go there to watch the sports when I'm home. So it's kind of aggravating because I do want to get that worked out, but I'm not willing to pay the cable prices in order to do it. So right now, the entertainment is definitely going through that. So some other things that you might have, subscription services you might have, that if you want to save money, you can cut. If you use it and you enjoy it, don't cut anything. Just budget it in. But I'm trying to remind people, like, this is all the stuff you're paying for every month. There's the food services. They even have something called a butcher box, which again is a box service. Spotify costs money. They even have like dog food delivery things where they send you dog food every month, which I always thought was weird because unless your animal eats exactly one shipment of food every 30 days, then you're either getting too little or too much. So I didn't really see what the point of that was. And then if all that isn't enough, Amazon's starting to do it. When I buy food to be sent out here where I'm deployed on Amazon, it always asks me, oh, well, would you like to make this a monthly thing? And now I do think that there's some benefits to that. Don't get me wrong. Like if I was home, I could definitely see me putting certain things on like monthly things, like toilet paper, paper towels, toothpaste, stuff like that. I could definitely see just send me a certain amount every month, and then I'll just put it on hold when we get stocked up too much. But generally speaking, I think a lot of subscription services are overrated. And I think that if you go through your budget, you'll find at least one thing you don't use or you underuse, and it would be cheaper for you not to do it. A good example with that is tanning passes. I know a bunch of people that get these tanning passes, and they pay for it all year around so they can use it a couple months. But the thing is, if you add the total amount of how much it costs to pay for that pass that entire year, you would actually be cheaper just to pay for the individual times you go rather than the entire thing. But they get you in a subscription service, and people feel comfortable with it, and then it ends up, they end up just keep paying and paying and paying. So I really suggest that everybody goes through their budget, find the subscription services you have, and really analyze whether you need it or not. If you don't need it, just go ahead and cancel it. And then keep in mind that sometimes it's cheaper just to do it on your own without subscription service and just pay the individual fees as you use it if you're not using it very much. I feel that way very much with gym memberships. People do not generally use gym memberships all that much. So it's much cheaper to go somewhere like a local rec center and then just pay by the month. And then if you don't want to use it anymore, that's it. It's done. And you get to save that money. And then if you want to use it again, then you can just go and renew your membership and you're good to go. No harm, no foul, really. Well, anyway, guys, thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I hope you learned something. I hope you saved some money because this channel is all about all of us saving money. That's the whole point, is how can we all save money and achieve our financial goals. Anyway, if you'd like to give me a like, give me a share, subscribe, whatever, leave a comment below if you have any ideas or anything you want to share with the group. Thank you for watching, and keep saving.